Hello, and welcome to episode 13 of Vampire the Requiem. I am Mike, your storyteller for the night. I'm here with two of my players. I'll throw it over to them and let them tell you who they are and who their character is and what they do. So we'll start with Robin.
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm playing Winter Jameson. She is a vampire of the Invictus Covenant and Deva clan, and she owns a vampire themed goth nightclub in New York.
Uh,
Lily.
And that's a dog.
yeah, it's not your dog.
No.
Lily.
And we'll and speaking of the dog, we'll go down to Melody.
Hello, I'm Melody. I play Missy Dragonstone. I am a um I am geez, I can't even talk today. I'm Clan Virtue and Covenant of Order of Dracul, and I am a horse rancher.
So it has been 4 months since we played Vampire, so I will give you a short overview of what happened in the last episode. Um, Natalie, Winter's bartender, had been treated by Invictus because she'd been attacked by one of the seven. Or no, not the seven. I've forgotten what the owl creatures are
Right, I forgot
called.
what they're called. One of those
Um,
owl things.
yeah.
It's
I can't
been
remember either.
been too long since we played this game. Um, she had gotten. You guys had went to visit her, and she was claiming that there were strange things going on within the Invictus, and she wasn't really very comfortable with being there. Um, and this wasn't very long after the major upheaval with several vampires and several humans dying. And basically, what was an attempted takeover, and followed by a turf war, um, which means the human police are now much more interested in what's going on because a couple of them died in the ensuing
Lily, what the
melee.
hell is up with you?
Um, and Misty had come back to New York from Kentucky because her farm and the surrounding area were somehow infested with werewolves.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
Yes.
Pesky werewolf infestations.
Pesky
If
werewolves.
if they're gonna show up, they should at least let you know. It's like, yeah. So she she had called about that, and they sent investigators out, and the investigators were found dead shortly after investigating. And uh, Misty was told to pack up her horses, move them to a different farm, and leave until her superiors got this werewolf thing under control. And basically, that's where the last episode ended. And where we're going to start tonight is 4 months later. Uh, Misty is still in New York. There hasn't been much headway on the werewolf issue.
Well, there were what, 12 of them? That's a
Yeah,
lot of werewolves to deal
yeah.
with.
And every time they send investigators out, they disappear. So they've decided that they're going to have to negotiate this and
No, they need to bring in the werewolf whisperer.
and get them to leave on their own, which that's going to be rather difficult because a werewolf and a horse farm is like,
Hey, easy food right here.
right. Re- and apparently really expensive good food for that matter.
Well, yeah, racehorses aren't cheap.
Well, Misty paid 60 grand for the one she just bought, so yeah. Um, so she's still in New York. In fact, didn't I seem to recall the two of you meeting up, or at least she
I
called
think
you or something?
she called me and told me she was coming back, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that, but I don't think we have
No,
actually rolled our
I
game.
don't think she's been in the club yet.
Nope.
No. It's easy to get lost in New York City for 4 months. Uh, and things have calmed down mostly at the club. Things have been fairly normal for the last couple of months, except Natalie's home. And for the most part, she seems okay. It's just every once in a while, uh, something will trigger something and you'll get really anxious or really nervous about something. Uh, Dexter's pretty much over the last 4 months done what Dexter always does. You know, he's one of these guys where his life doesn't change much.
And he's gotten, at this point, he's gotten the whole being a vampire thing down. So
Well, yeah, um, that's the biggest change in his life.
that's a pretty big change.
Eh, And he he's even settled into that now, where it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing, blah blah blah.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
You see where you're at? You see where you're
Um.
at, young lady? What? Don't give me that look.
although he is still worried about Natalie because every time she gets triggered by something, he's like, what in the world did they do to her while she was in there? Or what did she see that she wasn't supposed to see while she was in there?
Well, she said, I seem to remember she said something about thinking the prince of the city was in trouble somehow, or
Yeah. Um, she did mention that, although over the last 4 months or so, you haven't heard a lot more about that. Um, because the prince has his own people, and if he had found out something was going on, he wouldn't want it broadcast, you know. So, even though you've helped him out on several occasions, this is the political thing, and he probably doesn't want uh,
right.
the he doesn't want to be on the front page of the Inquirer, basically.
Oh, speaking of that, how's it going with the cops harassing us because we're vampires? Has that been an issue in the past 4 months?
Oh yeah, any little any little tiny thing that happens in your neighborhood, you guys get blamed for because uh, they're like, oh, it's the goddamn vampires again, blah blah blah.
So me
Yeah,
trying to convince them that I wasn't a vampire didn't work.
no,
It's all
uh,
an act, really. The fangs are fake. It's part of the whole ambiance of my club, really.
oh, over the incident that kind of blew that up is that the one of the officers that generally patrols the area walked up to Dexter one night and was like, "You guys aren't vampires, you know, and all this is fake. Take your fangs out."
Oh, oops.
And, and yeah, Dexter
Damn it, they're
base
stuck.
yeah, Dexter basically punched him in the face and
Oh,
was
I'm sure that helped matters. Thanks,
yeah.
Dex.
So yeah, because Natalie had gotten triggered slightly earlier, so Dexter was stressed and having a rather difficult night because it was a Saturday and the place was overflowing
Well, you can bet I had a talk with him about that
and,
afterward.
and so you know
You can't
cops
be
said
going around punching human cops.
cops said something stupid and Dexter just flattened him
Well, I guess I
and
should count myself lucky that he didn't bite and drain the cop, because that would have been
well,
worse.
no, De- Dexter has enough brain to know that he shouldn't do that,
Yeah, if he'd done that, no.
but his biker mentality flashed, and he just flattened the dude. And so since then, it's like there's not really any convincing them that. Yeah,
Yeah, they might just ask you to pull out your fangs too.
Shit, they're stuck.
yeah, right. That that gorilla glue worked better than you thought it did. Yeah.
He's like, these are actually my teeth. I filed them down so it looked like a vamp.
Well, the cop would go, "Why in the world?" They would think that was weird enough as it is.
It's New York. I mean, come on. There's got to be some weirdos like that in New York.
Well, they're half expecting you to sh- show up in drag. It's like, it's like that would be more normal in New York City, especially in this neighborhood. But yeah, every time you interact with any of you interact with the police now, they're like, eh, whatever's going on is probably your fault.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep my club going. Seriously.
Um, it's generally your club is generally still doing fine. It's
Mostly
just
vampire patrons, probably still.
it's just that the people that come there are more iffy about watching for what the police are doing.
Right. So we haven't had any more trouble with the seven or the whatever they were called.
Yeah. No, after the big incident back in the summer, they they went back to wherever they came
Well, thank God for that at least.
from. 'Cause whatever they thought they were gonna get out of it, they didn't get it, so they left. Um, and the, there have been petty squabbles between the various vampire factions.
Well, that's been an ongoing thing for.
Well, yeah, they always do. That, you know, they'll work together when necessary, but they've been squabbling for thousands of years. Just as long as doesn't turn into a full fledged turf war, everybody's fine.
Right.
Um, so, um, we'll say it's the
Strix.
begin.
They're called Strix. I had to Google
Yeah,
it and see. It was
yeah.
driving me nuts.
See what happens when you don't play for 4 months? Uh, you forget everything. We'll say it's the beginning of another evening. So you and Melody and Dex, you're still living in the three of you are still living in the same
You mean
account.
me and Natalie Index?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Melody, so I was
Oh,
confused for a second.
okay. The three of you are still living in the same apartment slash condo, whatever you want to call it. Um, so you guys get up. Natalie heads into the shower. For some odd reason, ever since she got home, she's now always the first one to head into the shower every morning. Uh, she used to not really care. Now it's become a thing.
That's all right with me. It gives me more time to wake up.
Yeah. And Dex does his normal thing.
He's still up before the two of us every morning.
and he's always and his clunking around is what generally wakes the two of you up every day or every night. Uh, but the upside to that is whenever you do get up, there's always a mug full of your preferred blood type sitting on the table waiting for you to show up. So the three of you, this is a normal Thursday evening, so you know that the club's not going to be horribly busy. So the three of you start your evening getting ready to go. Uh, when Misty came back to New York City, where did she end up staying?
In a hotel.
So you've basically been living in a hotel for 4 months.
Yeah, because I don't know anybody in New York City except for to stay with, except for uh Winter and them, and I'm not don't know them well enough to ask them.
Um, well, as evening falls, you hear a knock on the door. Are you gonna go answer the door, or are you still half asleep, or what are you doing?
Sure, I'll go answer the door.
It's the manager of the hotel. He's like, and when you open the door, he's a little off put by the fact that you have blackout curtains on the windows. uh,
They're a necessity, gotta tell you.
well, yeah,
Yep.
especially in a hotel room. But he's like, you've been here for 4 months. You're the longest, uh, the longest staying customer we've ever had. Uh, are you planning to stay here indefinitely, or
No, no. I won't sit until my infestation of bugs at my my farm is cleared up. Then I'll go back home.
and they haven't been able to do that before, bud?
I guess not.
They're really big bugs.
Hmm.
Um, well, the what he's basically trying to tell you is, what he's trying to ask you is, yeah, you've been here for 4 months. Are you going to keep paying to stay here, or,
Well, I've been paying every once a week or once a month or whatever.
well, yeah, you're, uh, the the person you came here with has been paying all the bills.
So I don't know what your problem is. If as long as we're paying you for it.
Well, he says basically some of the other guests have been a little, how do I put this politely? they've been curious about the two of you because your schedule is basically the opposite of everybody else. And so I've been getting other guests. I wouldn't call it complaining, but they're gossiping and wondering
It's name
what's,
their business. If I choose to sleep at night, I mean, sleep during the day and up at night, is it in their business?
well, the only thing that it really causes a problem for us about is the maid service. But yeah, because we don't really, yeah. Our maid service is during the day, and the two of you are always asleep. So it's
So they can leave the fresh towels outside the door, and we'll get them in the morning or at night when we wake up.
okay. Um, but I would be aware that if you run into any of the other guests, they're gonna be questioned because they won't even leave me alone about it.
Well, just tell them it's none of their business. Tell them if they're that insistent. Tell them that we have business that we have to tend to at night
Well,
for our ranch.
well, you know how people are about minding their own business.
Yes.
Whenever something is out of the ordinary, rumors pop up and all this stuff.
Well, I mean, you're living in a hotel and you're out all night and sleeping all day. They probably think you're a prostitute.
That's been one of the nicer rumors that's going around, yeah. Prostitute, drug dealer, and you know, we do want to make sure that nothing illegal is going on. So
It's nothing illegal or not possess, not necessarily illegal.
no, I think if you think about it, draining somebody and leaving them in an alley is pretty much illegal, actually.
Yeah.
Think that would be considered assault at the very least, if not attempted murder. So, yeah.
I haven't done that yet.
You you actually you have wondered where there's an easier supply of blood to get because it's in the area where you're staying, there's not a large population of humans wandering around.
And you can't exactly call down for, the room service for a,
Hey, Rose, I
a
want to get your
bottle of blood. So.
So,
room service. Bring yourself down here.
Right.
well, they have wondered a couple of times why you've ordered your steak almost raw. And that's actually what triggered this conversation. The staff in the kitchen is like, there's something weird going on up there. So, but he's like, you know, okay, just, and as he's talking, he glances around the room and keeps fixating on the blackout curtains and cringing a little bit. And he's like, just as long as there's nothing illegal or any of that going on, and I just wanted to let you know that the guests are gonna bug you if you run into one of them.
Well, let them bug me. They might
Um,
not like the consequence.
well, you might not want to tell him that,
Right.
but yeah. Uh, but uh, you're welcome to stay as long as you keep paying the bill. As
Yep,
far as
we'll keep paid.
I'm concerned, yeah. They bugged me till I came up and checked, so I'm just doing my job. Uh, and with that, he's like, yeah, have a good night, and walks out the door. I forgot the guy's name that you've been hanging out with.
So have I now.
Carter.
Yeah, Carter.
Carter, okay. What are you and Carter planning to do for the evening, if anything?
Uh, I'm gonna say, I think we need to go hit up that bar.
Because Thursdays are pretty much, yeah, it's not the weekend yet, so things aren't very active. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, let's go hit up the bar before since it's a
Mm.
quiet night for them.
And you, from your first interaction with them, you also know that you can get blood there,
Yep.
so you don't necessarily have to go looking for it. So you and Carter get ready and head out the door to go over to Winter's club. It'll be a while because no matter what night it is, traffic in New York City is ridiculous. Um,
Yeah, that's where the ability to turn into a bat comes in handy.
or, the old standard puff of smoke theory where you can just turn into a puff of smoke and float over. But if you take the right merit, you can turn into a bat. So you just have to have enough experience points to afford to do it.
Oh, that's what I'm saving my experience points up for, actually.
Oh, is it okay? Uh, so while you guys are making your way through New York City traffic on a Thursday evening, uh, we'll head back over to Winter and the club, and things people are slowly starting to show up. The line in front of Dexter is not bad for a Thursday night. Um, and Natalie, well, what she's tending bar, but there's nobody at the bar right now. Uh, she calls you over and is like, I just heard something on the news that's really strange.
What's that?
Apparently, a couple of, and she picks up her phone to look at the video she was looking at. Apparently, 3 humans have disappeared in the last 2 days in in this neighborhood.
Disappeared as in no bodies found or anything yet?
As in, they were here a couple days ago and now they're not. uh, I just want to, even though that doesn't sound necessarily odd in New York City because people go missing in New York City all the time.
Oh, if it was in this neighborhood, it sounds like we're probably gonna get a visit from the human cops.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna give you the heads up for. It's like the cops are gonna show up, the reporters are gonna show up,
Well, I don't know about you and Dex. Well, yes, I do because I'm with you all the time, but I haven't been eating any humans recently, and I'm pretty sure you haven't either.
well, no, we've been sticking to our, you know, bottled of stuff from the convenience store over there.
Yeah, I know. It's been 4 months. I kind of miss the hunt. We should do that sometime.
Well, yeah, that might be a fun thing to do this weekend, but uh, nowhere near here though,
No,
apparently. 'Cause
no, I'll have to go over to Queens or something for that.
going to get a little, hyper over here. Um, you might want to get a hold of. I'm terrible with names, apparently.
I,
You're,
I, if you're talking about the
you,
Invictus rep, I have
yeah,
his name written down.
yeah,
'Cause I can't think of it right off the cuff right now, but I do have it written
yeah.
down here.
I've got
It is
everything written down in a notebook, but it's over there.
Tanner.
But Natalie basically says you might want to check with him and see if there's see if this strictly human thing or if there's been a possible vampire involvement or what. Because if there is, it's just going to give the cops and the reporters more reason to give us grief.
Well, regardless, they're going to assume there is, whether there is or not. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Oh,
I'll give Tanner a call.
and if Tanner hasn't heard of it, you might let him know about it.
Right. I think he keeps up on things, especially if it may have something to do with Invictus or vampires in general. But yeah, I'll give him a call.
You, over the last 4 months, you haven't seen him near as much as you were because he's been staying pretty close to the prince and what's going on with that. He doesn't know enough about what's going on with the prince to tell you anything, but with him not being around as much, you can pretty much tell that there's definitely something going on there that's not good as far as they're concerned anyway. So,
So yeah, I'll go into my office in the back where it's a little quieter, and I'll give him a call.
uh, he answers the phone and he sounds really tired, like almost like he just got out of bed. Yeah. But and he's like, sorry I haven't talked to you in a while. I've just been really busy.
Oh no, I understand. Just heads up, I got a little bit of news. Apparently, few humans have gone missing right around the area of my club recently in the last day or two. And just wondering if you knew anything about that, think there's some vamp involvement or not.
He's like, I have seen a couple things on my phone, but I hadn't really thought about it. Um, and I hadn't really realized that it was in the area of the club.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, the humans are going to be gunning for us more than they already are.
Like, we need more grief.
Right.
Um,
And I mean, like, I know there are some rogue vampires out there who do shit like that, but we're not those.
you'd have a tough time running a business if you were. Uh, I'll look into it. Uh, I'll get back to you before you close tonight.
All right, and just on another note, you ever have time and want to swing by, the RIP section's always open for you.
Well, I, I was thinking about that. Um, I do need a bit of a break. This political stuff with the prince is stressful to say the least. He he is not happy. And when the prince is upset, everybody
Yeah,
around everybody around him is upset.
I
So
could picture that. I mean, it's my interactions with him. He's a nice guy, but yeah, I can see if he's not happy, nobody's happy.
uh fact he he mumbled something at dinner last night about if he can't figure this out soon, he's literally going to uh shall we say replace the council in a physical sense, uh, which that'll cause a mess like we don't even want to think about.
Right.
Uh, so,
Gives a new meaning to draining the swamp.
yeah. uh, and I, I personally, if he decides to do that, I personally don't want to be anywhere near it.
I don't think you'd be in any danger, I
Well,
hope.
no, we get along fine. What I can tell you is whoever is causing him trouble is a member of the council themselves.
And I'm sure he knows that.
Yeah. And since he doesn't quite know who or what, he's like, I'll just take them all out and start over again.
Well, logical. But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, like I said, if you want to swing by sometime you have a free evening, I know
yeah.
you like Nat's Bloody Marys.
That's true, and I haven't had one for a while. So I'll look into this human thing and I'll stop by before you guys close in the morning.
All right.
We'll see you soon then.
All right. See you soon.
Yeah.
It's not dinner time yet. Still an hour. Yeah. Hour.
Just just as he just before he hangs up, you hear the prince's voice over the phone and he's yelling at somebody. So uh so this is already not started off to be a good night for him. So so Tanner will probably definitely stop by because it'll be safer for him not to be there. So, and when you put up the phone, you see Bella standing outside talking to Dexter. Bella has still been coming in every night like she always does. But tonight, instead of just coming in and taking up her regular spot in the corner on the back wall by the dance floor, she seems to be having a conversation with Dexter outside. So, and how does Misty and uh, Carter? Do you guys take a car? Do you guys call an Uber? Do you guys
You call
take
it
a
Uber.
Okay, so
Uber.
you skip the regular cab in
Yeah.
New York, which is a good thing.
Right. I was gonna say probably a good idea.
They'll charge you more than the Uber will, and the cab driver will ask more questions. So, so Winter, as you're standing there watching Bella talk to Dexter, you see this car pull up, and it doesn't pull into one of the parking spaces. It pulled up right outside the door. And Misty and Carter get out of the car, and then the car turns around and drives away. And Dexter sees them walking up and pauses his conversation with Bella and goes, uh, you guys aren't on my clipboard here. Uh, I do vaguely remember seeing you at some point. Uh, let, let me step inside and talk to Winter for a second. And he also tells Bella to, like, stay where she is because they're not done with their conversation, which is sort of odd because Bella usually just comes in. Uh, so Dexter walks in the door and walks up to you and goes, see those two standing out there next to Bella?
Yeah,
They're not on my clipboard. Do you know these people?
I know they've been in before. Let me go out and talk to them. So I'll
Okay.
go out and like, um, horses, right?
Yes.
Um, I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name. And
Misty.
Misty. Oh, right. You called me a while ago and told me you'd be back in New York, and I haven't seen you.
Yeah, we got a little busy.
Well, come in. I tell Dex they're okay.
He says, I vaguely remember them, but it's been a while. And I go through a lot of people. So.
Of course. And yeah, okay, and I'll tell them here, yeah, get a drink and here, let's catch up. I'll sit down at a table with you for a while until I'm needed. We're not too busy right now.
Yeah, that's why we remembered that you were not busy on Thursdays, so that we come back over here today.
Yeah, so we'll all go up to the bar and uh, see Nat about some drinks, and then I'll sit down with them.
Okay. The three of you walk up to the bar. Natalie does not remember Carter and Misty at all. And bartenders generally remember faces.
She's been through a lot recently.
But,
Ah, that's
but,
not good.
but
Nah, yeah, the whole Strix thing.
Oh, yeah, that's gotta be bad.
Yeah.
Natalie goes, yeah, wasn't the best week of my life, I'll tell you. Um, so, what are the two of you going to have?
Bloody Mary with actual blood.
Well, of course. Uh, don't I don't make them any other way. So if a human actually orders it, it's a bit strange. Um,
Uh,
they think it's really cheap tomato juice, but
oh my god,
She's a little salty.
a little
well,
salty, but yeah.
actual actually, blood has less salt in it than tomato juice does.
It will be hilarious if a human was like, God, this is the best damn Bloody Mary I've ever.
Like,
I say, oh, you want to be a vampire now, do you?
the thing is, blood would have a metallic taste to
Right.
it
Yeah.
Like
that
iron.
that tomato juice wouldn't have. So if they were paying attention, they would notice.
Yeah, if this
But
is really good, I'll say, oh, you want to be a vampire now, do you?
mm, well, in the club you could get away with that because they think you were joking.
Right.
Um, but she generally puts enough alcohol in it that you know they might taste the metallic taste, but they get drunk enough that they don't notice really.
Hmm.
And tell her you can make me a gin and an egg, please.
I can do that.
Yeah.
She says, oh, by the way, gotta do an order. Uh, Probably do one tomorrow. We're running kind of low on stuff. And speaking of that, for our personal use, you're going to have to run by the corner market soon. We're, we're down to like a quarter bottle apiece.
Okay, I'll do that, definitely.
And you haven't talked to the old couple at the corner market for a while, so it'd be nice to catch up on what's going on with them. And also, with this human thing that's been going on, if anybody would know around the neighborhood, it'd be those two.
Right, that's what I was
So,
thinking. They
so
have some.
um, but Natalie makes your drinks, and then just before you turn to walk away, she's like, I haven't ever seen Bella and Dexter like they're still talking to each other out there. He's not even letting her in the door. Something's going on.
They're probably flirting.
Uh, don't think he can handle her.
I think she probably knows that too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they did. Dexter did hang out with her and her sisters the night of the
Yeah.
whole thing in the park, so never know what went on there.
Speaking of flirting, tomorrow's Friday, and our house band's gonna be up in the RIP room.
That's true. And Natalie goes, as I recall, you had a bit of a thing for the lead singer of the band.
Yeah.
They've built up over the last 4 months. They've built up quite a following in your club. They're playing there every Friday night now, and it generally is like overflow. Uh, it's even busier than Saturdays because they've got a lot of fans now. So, uh, but the three of you go sit down. And what did the three of you talk about?
Well, I remembered her having said something about werewolves, so I'm gonna ask about that and what's going on with her ranch and all
Yeah,
that.
there's like a forest and backside my ranch, and they've been like hiding in the forest in my ranch. And supposedly, I'm not the only one, if I remember right, was getting attacked by the.
No, generally all the horse farms in the area have had issues with it.
So I sent after my rep to get control of these werewolves in my ranch. I was told to leave for a while, so I moved my horses over to Carter's ranch, and we came back to New York.
Okay, I was gonna ask about the horses. I hope they're safe.
They're they should be.
The strange thing about this whole thing is that Misty and Carter, of all the all the horse farms in the area, Misty and Carter are the only two that are vampires. The, the rest are human. And the werewolves, knowing this, don't tend to show themselves
Mhm.
because the humans would just lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking bad B movie at the theater.
Right.
So the three of you catch up on what's been going on the horse farm, um, and Natalie walks over and she starts to tell them what happened when she was in Invictus and all those strange things that she is guessing went on while she was in there. And while while she's doing this, she looks over for a second and then taps you on the shoulder and has you look over by the door. And apparently, the conversation between Dexter and Bella is getting rather heated. They're
Like
not
arguing?
they're not quite yelling at each other, but yeah, the people that were in line are sort of like backing up because they're like, we don't know what's going on here. Is this a boyfriend girlfriend breakup thing or yeah, what's going on?
So I'm gonna excuse myself from the table and head out the door and see what exactly is going on with my bouncer. So I'll step outside. I'm like, hey, is everything okay, Dex? Bella, what's going on here?
Um, Bella's like, I haven't seen my sisters since the night after the problem in the park. And Dexter was with the three of us, and he's the only one that, in fact, he's the last one that saw the three of us together. So I'm like, you know, a little stressed here. I'm like, what in the heck's going on with my sisters? And Dex is like, I have no idea. When I left, the three of you were fine. I'm like, and she's like, yeah, but you were the last one to see the two of them. And it's been 4 months.
And as far as I know, from what Dex said, was you were all together when he left.
Like, yeah. Dex is like, your sisters gave me tea before you showed up, and then the whole thing blew up in the park, and I literally, when I made my way out, the three of you were still in your little cave area or whatever you call that place, and And as far as after that, I just do my job every night. You should know because you're here every night. And then he's like, if they've been missing for 4 months, how come you didn't say anything before now? And she basically doesn't respond to that. She just sort of stands there. So what does Winter do about this?
Well, I will remind them that probably out in front of my club is not a great place to be having an argument, especially since you're on duty, Dex. So I'll suggest that Bella come on in, and if they want to continue their conversation, they can wait until we close this morning.
Yeah. So grudgingly, Bella does. She walks in the door. And she stops at the table where Misty and Carter are. Because I don't think she's met the two of you before.
I
Not officially.
Not officially, I don't think so, no.
Bella is this no, very tall woman with dark hair, long dark hair, uh, got all manner of jewelry. Yeah. The woman could be a walking jewelry store advertisement. uh, and she's like, uh, I'm sorry if we interrupted something with the three of you.
Oh, that's okay. I just, as the owner here, I want to make sure everything's going smoothly.
Well, you know, I like Dex, but like I said, he was the last one to see my sisters. They don't normally disappear for months at a time.
Yeah, but I've got to say, kind of having an idea of you and your sisters, I sort of think if Dex tried anything with any of them, he'd be the one in trouble. I just kind of get that feeling.
Well, yeah, I'm more concerned with whether he might know anything of whether he heard them say they were going somewhere. What, you know, I wasn't thinking that he like attacked them or something because I'm sorry, but my two sisters on one guy, no.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
You'd be
So,
fine. You'd be, if that went wrong, you'd be finding a new doorman about now. But so I was just trying to see if they told him something that they didn't tell me, which would have been highly weird in itself. But I will take up my normal post and let the three of you get back to whatever you were talking about. And she heads back over to her normal spot in the dark corner by the dance floor. She's so flustered she didn't even bother to introduce herself to Misty and Carter. Uh, so, so Winter, do you sit back down with the two of them and
Yeah, it seems like, I'm not, nobody's screaming for my attention right now, so.
um, what do Misty and Carter think of the club now that they've?
It's nice. Although that woman was strange, but yeah.
Well, that's usually Bella's initial.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
Bella is a little strange.
Yeah. So, eh, during the interlude, Natalie helped a couple of people at the bar, and now she's walked back over. Uh, was like, "Does anybody need anything?"
Yeah, I'll have another drink.
Yeah.
Sure, why not another drink?
Oh, I looked in the book. Vampires can get drunk. They can get
Okay.
they can get drunk as easily as humans do.
Okay, my question is, can they get drunk from feeding on someone who's really drunk?
Mm,
That would be
The
an interesting one.
the human would have to almost have such a high blood alcohol content that they'd be bordering on blood poisoning.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, like, if Natalie were to keep feeding you Bloody Marys all night, by 2 in the morning, you'd be as drunk as a human who did that. So, plus, you wouldn't necessarily want to drink a drunk human's blood. It wouldn't taste very nice. Because any alcohol, any flavor the alcohol had would have gone away, and it would have
True.
just be blood with a high tangent alcohol content. So
And if you're
probably
gonna get
not.
drunk, you might as well have the alcohol, the flavor of the alcohol to go with that.
Right.
Right.
You might you might as well get it from the bar eh, and you don't run the risk of killing anybody at the bar. Because the last thing you need is for the cops to find some poor schmuck that got drunk and got,
Right.
you know,
Bit.
yeah.
But the blood for the Bloody Marys have to come from some human.
Um, well, if it does, you guys don't know because you order your stock from a company and you don't know how that company gets the blood that it sends you.
They have a deal with the Red
Yeah.
Cross.
Probably.
Well, you do remember the clinic that Natalie took you to when
Hmm.
the two of you were fairly new at this still, so you you do know that there are, you know, quote, donors that do that sort of thing.
Are you wagging your tail? Are you wagging your tail, young lady?
It's 8:30 my time. Uh, do you guys need a break?
I could
Oh,
use one. I could use one. I need to quickly call my mom and see what time we're going to church in the morning.
okay. Calling about a church appointment in the middle of a vampire game. Not necessarily.
Yeah, because afterwards it's gonna be too late to call them.
Yeah. What, they're not
On a Sunday, it'd be too late to call them on a Sunday.
they're not up till 10? Come on.
They might be, but usually they don't like calls after 10.
They're getting old.
Yeah.
So wait, I have a question. Are we going till 10 or 11 tonight?
Well,
I say 10 because I need my sleep.
I'm thinking
10, wait, 10 your time, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. So I forgot
10,
you're on. Well, where's our time?
10 our time would be another hour and a half, which would be 9 Melody's time.
That's what we
So,
do with D&D. We play until 9 my time, so.
yeah.
Okay, I always thought we played till 10 your time, 11 our time, but
When we changed to Saturday nights, we
Oh,
changed it to, instead of going at 7 our time, we start at 6 my time.
Oh, okay.
So instead of starting at 7 and 7 to 10, 6 to 9.
Okay.
Well, part of that is at least one, if not two, of the people in the D&D game are on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So,
I believe both Korai and I know LaFall is. I believe Korai is as well.
so they crash out early anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, we actually had everybody for the full game last Saturday. We actually had everybody for the full game. Well, except for Patrick, of course. Except for Patrick.
It was almost 3 hours, and I was amazed that the two on the East Coast survived that long.
I'm not surprised that they did. I'm surprised Batty did, and she's central, and she usually crashes. Like, she's the one that usually gets out of the game in the middle of the game, and she actually made it the whole game last Saturday.
That's because they barely survived last week, but they were happy to get away from the island in one piece last week.
Yeah, but I'm surprised she actually made it through the whole game, but she did. And it helps that we're not playing on Sunday, because on Sunday she has an early game with other friends, and then she plays our game, and I think it was just too much, and she didn't have a chance to nap in between. Yeah. I think if she plays on Saturday and could get a nap in, I think she does fine.
Well, why don't we take a 20-minute break here, and you can call your parents, and if Robin, if you need to go to the bathroom or get a snack or something.
Yeah.
So I can't pause StreamYard. So I'm just gonna be here for 20 minutes. But
is the recording off?
I can't turn it off.
Oh.
If I turn the recording off, it ends the whole thing.
Oh, okay. So do you just edit out all of this, or?
I just leave it in.
Oh, okay.
People just get to hear us do normal, everyday, mundane stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was just wondering if we stopped at 10 our time, because that's Chase's dinner time, and like I was thinking we went till 11, and I was thinking if we took our break at 9:30, I could feed him then, but 8:30 is too early to feed him. So,
Um,
so if we stop at
well,
10, then that's perfect.
right. Well, yeah, we can stop at 10. Um, so, and you guys really haven't got into anything super heavy yet, so
We haven't even rolled dice yet.
no, that's coming up though.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go see if he needs to go out real quick.
You,
I'll be right back.
yeah, probably wouldn't mind doing that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. And you're not here.
Melanie,
Yeah.
how many experience points do you have?
Uh, I believe I have two.
After all this time, you only have two.
I think so. That's why I've written down.
Okay. All right.
I have all five beats marked off though.
All five what?
Beats marked off.
Oh, I was just reading your T-shirt. Uh,
Oh, yeah, based on the novel by Stephen King.
You're not quite crazy enough for that yet. How's the whole monitor thing on your Stephen King site going?
Oh, the moderator thing, that's going great. Getting along well with the other mods. People are, oh god, it's like retail when people don't like the store policy and they personally attack the clerks. They do
Right,
the same thing. If we decline someone's post for some reason, they get all up and on us and shit. And of course, we have to make sure that people are being nice to each other. I've had to remove a lot of comments because people get, like, one of our rules is absolutely no politics, religion, or social causes because that shit, causes problems.
right.
And I've had to remove so many comments for that kind of thing. And name
Wow.
calling, people call each other's, they get all personal with each other. It's just like, no, you can't do that.
Jeez. It's just a website, people. Your your life is not gonna be yeah, changed irrevocably by what somebody says on a website. So
Right. But yeah, no, it's it's a job. I'll put it that way. Being a moderator for a Facebook group is a job.
uh,
But it's fun. And like the mod, we have our own chat, the mods, and we interact and stuff. And we have little contests and games that we play just between the moderators and the administrator and stuff. So it's kind of fun.
oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Like, I can just see you guys chatting about. Oh, did you see that last comment by that last guy?
We do. We use the eye roll emoji a lot when we're
Right.
talking about the members.
Right. Hmm,
Yeah. No, it's a great group.
cool.
And for the most part, it's, positive stuff. And, yeah, it's like you're just there to share a mutual love for Stephen King. So,
uh, see,
Cool.
that's why I think people who get all hyper about it should rethink it. It's like you're
right.
all you're all there because you like that certain thing.
Hmm.
Don't jump all over people.
Right, and I have had to remove comments and decline posts so much because people who are writers, like me, but I would never do this, of course, they try to promote their own writing. You can't do that in this group.
And if they read the rules of the group, it probably said so before they
Yes,
started.
it does, but it's like, no, that's not what we're here for.
There are other groups that you specifically do that.
Right.
I'm sure. So, Everybody ready to get going again?
I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Yep.
Mm, Let me move my handy dandy book here. There we go. All right. Welcome back to episode 13 of Vampire, the Requiem. Before we went on break, Winter and Misty and Carter were sitting at a table in Winter's club, just generally chatting. Uh, Bella had taken up her normal space back by the dance floor, and Dexter had gone back to checking people off of his clipboard. Um, and Natalie's busy making a lot of Bloody Marys at the moment. And speaking of Bloody Marys, while you guys are chatting, Dexter walks in, leans over your shoulder, and goes, uh, Tanner's here.
Oh, good. I was hoping he'd stop by tonight.
He, he looks majorly stressed.
Yeah, he's been dealing with some stuff with the prince. Prince has been dealing with some stuff.
Well, he, he just told me to tell you that he needs lots of Bloody Marys and he needs to talk to you.
Okay. I'll go have Nat start on those Bloody Marys for him and tell him to come on in.
Uh, so Tanner walks in. He's he's in a pair of jeans, a t-shirt, and his hair looks like he's been out in a 30-mile-an-hour wind, and it looks like he hasn't shaved for 3 days, at least. And and you didn't know vampires still needed to shave, but they do. So yeah,
So the hair does keep growing after you die, apparently.
he chuckled with that comment slightly, but only slightly. He's like, he says hello and makes a beeline for the bar. Uh, and he smiles when he sees Natalie already has a glass sitting on the bar for him. Um, he grabs it and basically downs it at the bar and sets the glass down on the bar and like, as many of those as you can comfortably make, I'll drink. So, uh, uh, and he motions for her to bring them over to the table where you guys are. And he walks back over to the table and puts a hand out to Misty and Carter and says, I don't believe I've met the two of you before.
Well, hello. I'm Misty, and this is my liege Carter.
Nice to meet the both of you. I'm sorry I don't normally look like this, but it's very odd for you to see Tanner not in a suit. In fact, I think this may be the first time you've ever seen him not in a suit. So he's like, we might have some issues.
What's going on? Did you find something out about the situation I mentioned earlier?
I did. There is a vampire element to that.
Uh, which would be
Which would be, how to put this? From my connections at the police department, there's a serial killer wandering around.
a serial killer with fangs.
No,
A human
he's
serial killer?
she's human, but from what I can find out, there's a spell that vampires can use called Shatter the Mind. And if you're a high enough experienced vampire, this spell can be permanent. And what it does is it doesn't do physical damage, but it does extreme mental damage. And shows you the most horrible thing your brain can come up with. Apparently. Now, this hasn't been confirmed because they haven't caught her yet. But from my sources, this has been used on this woman, and it basically, her reaction to this, instead of curling up in a ball in a corner, is she's going out and
Killing.
murdering murdering people in quite severe ways.
Mhm. And a vampire cast this on her. Well, I obviously don't know all the vampires in New York, but the only ones that I know of that are capable of using magic that I know currently would be Bella and her sisters, and her sisters are missing. So this could be sticky.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, you might want to go over to Bella's table there and mention this to her.
Yeah, this would have had to have been a circle of the crone spell, which means if nothing else, Bella might be able to get more information than I could. So, uh, at which point he downed his second Bloody Mary in one drink and smiles over to Natalie and points to his empty glass. And he says, "Well, she's making me another one. I'll go talk to Bella real quick." And he disappears into the purplish black of the dance floor by the, and you can see his outline standing at the table where Bella normally sits. Within 5 seconds, you see Bella bolt up and grab Tanner and
I'm gonna hurry over to the table to see if I need to break this up because nobody's starting to fight in my club.
well, as you walk over, you see Tanner basically just stare at Bella, and Bella slumps back into the chair. And Tanner sees you coming and goes, "That did not work out the way I assumed it would." I had to hypnotize her to get her to let go of me.
That works on other vampires. I thought that only worked on humans.
Eh, if you're older than the one you're doing it on, yes.
Hmm.
I'm not the prince's advisor for nothing. I've been around almost as long as he has.
So at this point, I can only use it on humans and Dex, and I kind of smile at Misty.
Misty, Carter, well, not even Carter, uh, and not Natalie either.
Right, just Dex.
Natalie's older than you are.
Yeah.
It does help if you're on a field trip with a school bus full of children, though.
Right. Humans, though, I can use it on humans.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're on a field trip with a school bus full of little human kids.
Right.
Kind
So
of
why would you
handy.
be on a school bus with human kids, though?
Yeah. Well, there are times you've got to fake your way into things. You've got to make people think you're human. You can't go around showing your fangs all the time.
No. I try not to do that when I'm around humans in general, unless it's at the club.
The people in Walmart would be a little stressed by that.
Yeah, right. I
So,
mean,
yeah.
it's probably weird enough for them that I'm dressed goth. If I'm around
Right,
showing
yeah.
my fangs, they'd really freak out.
So, yeah. Although you do find it interesting that every year at Halloween, Jack in the Box makes specials, you know, green looking milkshakes for you. It's like, but a few minutes later, Bella recovers and comes stomping up to the table where the four of you are. She turns to Carter and goes, "Don't ever do that again." And he's like, "Well, don't ever try and strangle me again. I won't have to do that."
Yeah, no bar fights, please. Not in my club. You're gonna do that, take it outside.
Well, Bella's like, well, you didn't even want me doing it in the parking lot earlier.
No, take it way out. Take it to the other side of the street.
And you hear Dexter through the door go, I would have kicked her ass anyway.
I have my doubts.
But, uh,
And I'll tell Dex that too. But yeah, I wouldn't bet on that. Not with
Bella's,
this one.
Bella's like, I would have turned him into a puppy. Yeah.
Aw, Dex would make a cute puppy.
Yeah. In fact, while you're sitting there, I need you both to make a wits and composure roll. It's the vampire version of a perception roll.
Wits and composure. Okay. Wits and where's my composure check? Okay. There it is.
And you need to get an 8, 9, or 10. And 10s explode, which means you roll them over again.
Well,
Wits and what? Composure?
Yeah.
I got 2 9s.
That's 2 successes.
Yep.
That's enough for you to notice. Speaking of bar fight,
A 9, a 8, and a 7, and
okay,
a 4.
that's 2 successes. So you, Winter and Misty, both notice a long black car drive up into the driveway of the club. And it does it at such a speed that the line of people standing in front of Dexter and his clipboard have to scatter as this car parks. And it actually parks in Natalie's parking place. You see a very large man. I mean, 7 feet tall. Has to be at least 400 pounds. In a suit, get out of the driver's side of the car, walk to the back seat, and open the door. And somebody you are very familiar with gets out of the back car. The
Okay.
prince, who actually towers over this man, gets out of the car. And the man who opened the door then gets back into the driver's side of the car. And the prince walks up to Dexter, who immediately walks over and opens the door to the club. He walks in front of the prince and walks over to you and goes, and if you thought Tanner was pissed, Tanner was a warm-up. You should have heard the prince growl at this dude that opened the door. And like I said, this guy was 7 feet tall, 400 pounds, and the prince is like, so I don't know that I want to be you at the moment. And then Dexter turns around and walks back outside. And the prince walks in the door, sees you and nods his head, and sees Tanner and is like, oh, you made it here. We've got bigger problems. And you see him text on his phone really quick, and you hear Tanner's phone go off in his pocket. Tanner looks at his phone, turns to you and goes, I have to go handle something. Downs his Bloody Mary and walks out the door. Doesn't say goodbye, doesn't. And the prince sits down where Tanner was, says, hello, Winter. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, I understand you've been dealing with some stuff.
You could say that. Um, before I go any further, I'm the prince of the city. Who would these two be? I assume they're vampires.
Yes, they are. This is Misty. She's from Kentucky, actually. She owns a horse ranch. And this is her sire, Carter.
Very nice to meet you. You own a horse ranch in Kentucky. Why are you in New York City?
Well, we had a infestation of werewolves on my ranch.
He sits back for a second and goes, oh, great. just what we need.
That's what I thought.
Amongst everything else, werewolves. Oh, great.
Yeah. And I look at Misty, I'm like, you didn't bring him to New York with you, did you?
Me? No, of course not.
Good.
Or I hope not.
Hopefully he wouldn't made it through the airport, but you never know. Turns out Carter's a werewolf. No. And that'd be bad.
A werewolf turned me a vampire. Okay.
Yeah, how does that work?
It's been done. It's called Underworld 3. It's been done. But, so, why I ask is I'm assuming I can tell you what I need to tell you with them sitting here.
Yeah, they're not human. So what's going on?
Don't want to have to deal with that.
I have the feeling we're going to have to deal with that regardless. But what's going on?
Yeah. Couple things. Found out who was causing my issue on the council. They're not causing me an issue anymore.
They're probably not doing much of anything anymore, would be my guess.
No. You saw my new driver outside?
Yes.
they were his dinner,
Hmm.
literally. Um, but what I found out in the process of that is that there are benefactors behind council members that are trying to mess with things and therefore mess with me. This is going to get messy in a literal sense before it's over. Um, Problem number two is probably something that Carter meant, nah, something that Tanner has probably already mentioned to you with the,
The the human situation.
yeah,
Yes, and I let Tanner know that there may be a little bit of a tie-in to that because Bella's sisters have gone missing, and to my knowledge, they, and I lean close and whisper, or Bella herself, are the only ones I know of that have the capability of doing something like this.
yeah, pro-
Tanner brought that up to Bella. She didn't take it too well.
ma- imagine not. Uh, it's bigger than that.
Are we? Do we have an Order of Dracul problem? Not Order of Dracul. I mean,
Circle of the Crown.
Circle of the Crone problem.
Not quite. Your your misspeak is more to the point. Not only are Bella's sisters missing, one of the top level Order of Dracul kindred is missing. And when I say top level, I mean just under the lieutenant leader of the group in New York is missing. Has been for over a month now.
So we have a human going around killing other humans, and we have vampires going missing.
Yeah.
This isn't good.
Oh, and Missy, uh, you hear this and are somewhat surprised because in Kentucky, the prince is actually very connected with the Order of Dracul. His sister is one of them. So,
Interesting.
um, and well, I haven't seen you in a bit because I've been dealing with the corrupt council members around me. I would like it if you could do some investigating on these other things because Tanner and I are going to be busy with stuff that it's better that you don't know anything about.
So, what is it you'd like me to do the investigating on?
The human serial killer, the vampire connection to that, because there are some rumors going around that the connection with that is also connected with the vampires vanishing.
Okay, well, I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that without getting Bella on my bad side, but I'll try.
Uh, and he says, I'll take care of that. And he looks over at Bella and snaps his fingers, and she gets up and walks over to him without saying a single word. And she basically drops to her knees, and he's like, he takes her head in his hands and goes, Winter, I've asked Winter to help find your sisters. This is something you want. Help Winter as much as you can whenever she asks you to until we find your sisters. Because this is bigger than just your sisters disappearing. And she looks up at him with a somewhat glazed look in her eye and nods and gets up and walks back over and sits down at the table. She won't give you a problem. In fact, she might actually be helpful.
Great. And do you want me to enlist Nat and Dex's help in all this, or at least Dex? I don't know.
Uh,
Nat's a little iffy.
Dexter, definitely. What's going on with Natalie?
She hasn't been entirely the same since the whole Strix thing.
Oh. Hmm. And he thinks about that for a second and goes, I'll have a word with Natalie. I want to know what's going on. Um, then
Okay,
he,
I'll have her come over. Do you want a drink? I'll have her bring you.
yeah, I forgot what drink he drinks because she was making him a certain drink at one point, and I
Yeah, I think
forgot what
it
it
was
was.
a blood orange something or other.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever it was, he said I'll have one of those. um,
So I'll go up to the bar and tell Nat, yeah, we need another round over here, and the prince needs his drink too.
she, she's like, and he, she makes the drinks, but you see this look in her eye like you mentioned the prince, and it basically triggered whatever's going on in her head. She, she gets very nervous and has to use both hands to keep from spilling the drink. And she gets the drinks over to the table, but she looks seriously shaken for some reason. And she was doing fine before you mentioned the prince. And while this is going on, he turns to Misty and Carter and goes, um, I will talk to the Prince of Louisville because it would be helpful if you could have a chat with his sister,
Okay.
um, being that she's ordered to cool herself.
Well, so am I.
Okay. She's high enough order that she might know something that's going on. And you could also keep me informed in case there are vampires in your area that are turned up missing.
Oh, there are some, but most of them we know have disappeared because of these werewolves.
Yeah, the werewolves. Hope they don't spread to New York City anytime
Yeah,
soon.
Yeah.
we had like at least two investigators that showed up dead when they were supposed to be investigating these werewolves, and they turned up dead.
Hmm. That sounds like it could end up being rather messy on that end, too.
Now it's been 4 months that we've been in New York, and they haven't gotten a call saying it's been taken care of yet.
Yeah, that, that's not good. Um, but, fact, under the guise of you going back to check on what's going on, you could talk to the prince's sister for me.
I'm sure Carter, don't you have the prince's number on your phone, or able to get his phone number?
He has it in his phone.
Carter's connected.
Oh, yeah. Well, Carter's basically Misty's version of Tanner,
Hmm.
level wise. So, yeah. Um, the only difference between Misty and Carter and you and Tanner is that Tanner did. Tanner wasn't the one that turned you.
Right.
Carter Carter was the one that turned Misty. So that's why they're hanging out together, because that's what Carter's supposed to do. So just happens that this thing ended up involving Misty too, which wasn't Carter's plan for all this. Well, and he didn't have any idea that werewolves would show up. But so, that's how things stand at the moment. Uh, Rather a big mess, in my opinion. Uh, if anything changes council wise, uh, I will keep you informed, as it might end up having a bearing on what you're investigating.
And if we find out anything, should I call Tanner or should I call you directly?
Call me directly.
Okay.
I'm gonna have Tanner take a vacation, as it were.
I think he needs it.
He, he he's been doing a lot for me, and it's starting to wear on him a bit,
Yeah.
as
He
you can
I
see. But
I lean forward and I'm like, he looks almost human.
yeah, you leave him alone for a couple of days. He doesn't wash his hair. He doesn't shave. He doesn't get dressed. It's like, please. I think a vacation would do him nicely. And he's like, you hear his phone ring, and it's the ringer from a 1950s landline phone. And you suddenly remember just how old this guy is. It's like, no. He, he looks at it and goes, oh, I forgot. I've got to make a press release, and I was supposed to do it earlier today, and I blew it off.
Oh, okay.
So I gotta go do that. But I will stop and talk to Natalie for a second. Um, Heads up, I'm going to get her to tell me what's going on.
Oh, good luck. She hasn't said anything to Dex or me.
She won't be able to fight me. I'm just warning you ahead of time. There shouldn't be any side effects to this, but it might bring up stuff. So
Just don't hurt her, okay?
I'm not going to. It's just that if I make her remember this stuff, uh, you might have to use your spare bartender for a day or two.
Uh, okay, understood. A good thing we have one.
Because she might not get out of bed for a day or two. Uh, he walks over, and it looks like he does the same thing that he did to Bella, but Natalie doesn't move. And you basically hear the prince's side of the conversation, which is, I need you to tell me what you saw or what you heard when you were in the Invictus Treatment Center. And you can see Natalie physically tense up. She's basically attempting to fight whatever's in her head. And she's able to for a minute, and then she just, you know, breaks down. And she's talking so softly that from where you are, you can't hear what she's saying. And in about 5 minutes, the prince walks back over. And Natalie, you see Natalie just sort of slump into a chair that she has behind the bar. Says she should be okay. She might need a good night's sleep.
Should
or
I have
good.
should I have Dex take her home and I'll hold the bar down my own? I mean, I can bring the RIP bartender down here. It's
Now,
Thursday, it's not that busy.
that might be a good thing. And
And
you look,
I'll take care of the line myself.
well, you look outside and there's only one or two people in front of Dex and his clipboard.
And so I told the prince, I'll take care of that. Uh, hold on just a moment. I want to know what she said. So I'll go outside and I'll tell Dex what's going on and ask him to bring her back to the apartment. And then I'll run upstairs and bring down the RIP bartender.
And the bartender from upstairs comes down. She has a rather confused look on her face. It's like, Natalie's a better bartender than I am. What do you?
Yeah, Nat's a little indisposed right now. I'm gonna send her home for the rest of the night.
And you tell Dex this, and you can see he's bordering on upset.
I'll tell him it's okay. Just go, just stay with her. Make sure she's all right. If you need me, if anything happens, call me and I'll close down. But I think you got this.
He's like, I'll take care of her. Uh, be sure to stop by the corner market on your way home. Uh, you won't have your cup of blood in the morning.
Oh, well, we can't do with that. I will definitely do that. I'll get us each a couple of bottles.
Okay. So he takes a hold of her arm and uh, takes her over to his car. Actually, he rode with the two of you, so uh,
He can drive her car.
he says I'll drive her home, and then uh, you're
I'll just
only
I'll walk
five.
home.
You're only 5 minutes from the club, so
Yeah, I'll walk home.
and so and when you get done with all that, the prince is standing there. He's like, this is another thing I needed to deal with right now. Apparently, apparently Natalie thinks there's some rogue people in the Invictus Treatment Center.
Rogue vampires.
I would assume we don't have humans working there. Uh, but she's claiming and believes that there are experiments going on that shouldn't.
Experiments like they're experimenting on vampires or on humans, either of which could be horrible.
Vampires.
Trying to do what? What are these
She she doesn't know. These are things she heard, and she's afraid they did something to her.
but she has
Well,
no idea what.
while she wasn't conscious.
She doesn't know what kind of thing she thinks they did
No,
to.
no, not at this point.
Okay, that's concerning.
Yeah.
Is that something else you want me to look into?
Well, she said she tried to tell you while you and Dex were there. Do you remember what she said?
She didn't say anything about experiments. She just said that she might have heard something she wasn't supposed to. And she said something about a conspiracy against you, but
Well, we know that part's true.
yeah.
So, given that, I'm tending to believe the other stuff too. Um, yeah. In fact, for all we know, all of this could be connected.
Sounds like there's a pretty good chance of that, actually.
So,
Which, like you said, could be very messy.
yeah. Uh, and he looks at both of you and goes, or all three of you, including Carter, goes, do you guys have weapons by chance?
I have a handgun behind the bar, just in case I need it for defense.
Uh, you might start carrying that with you when you're not in the club.
I, I could definitely do that.
And
I don't, but I don't know about Carter. I would think he probably would, but
yeah, Carter's like, we live in Tennessee, we live in Kentucky. I have rifles and stuff. Uh, he's like, why would you think they were necessary? And the prince goes, we don't know who and or what we are dealing with. And if all of this is connected, we don't know what any of you are going to run up on. So,
Yeah, the whole thing kind of has me nervous. I mean, just the rogue human running around killing people, that could be an issue for us because of the cops.
yeah. And oh, by
And
the way, on that, I talked to my connection at the police department, and he was like, we can't really control what the uh, quote beat cops do.
don't we have any vampires in the police service that could
We do.
do something about that?
We do. I could talk to my connection about possibly reassigning people when I get a free minute. I'll do that. Or maybe I'll have Tanner do that before I send him off on vacation. That's something he can handle for me.
Because we don't need human cops breathing down our necks any more than they already are.
Yeah. And with this serial killer female wandering around, the whole city's gonna be hyper.
Does anyone know who she is? Do they have a name, description,
No,
anything? Just that she's a
nope.
female?
This apparently only started a few days ago. She's on, she's killed 3 people, but she's done it all the same way.
And
And
which way would that be, or do I not want to know?
let's just say the three of us are neater at doing things than she is.
Ah,
The three bodies were found without like larynxes and all that.
okay.
Yeah, not
That's
really.
not typical for a human.
No, but we're dealing with somebody whose mind is gone, so
Possibly permanently.
possibly permanently.
Why would a vampire do that to a human?
I maybe she did something to him, or or well,
I mean, humans make good snacks, but other than that, I don't know why you'd mess with them like that.
well, didn't you want to have a human you were connected to?
Yes,
Well,
I would never do something like that to her.
well, maybe that's what happened here, and things went horribly wrong, and
I mean,
most
if I met her, I'd probably drain her at this point, but I wouldn't I wouldn't break her mind.
well, people do when people have emotions that are going wrong, you never know what happens. So that's why it's handy not to have them.
Yes, I don't think I'm quite at that point of
Oh,
vampireness yet.
well, you know, being over 1,000 years old, it's easier to do. I've seen a lot of things you don't even want to think about.
I've seen things I don't want to think
Yeah.
about.
So, yeah. 1923 was not a good year. So, but,
I wouldn't know. I wasn't even born as a human back then.
well, I was. That's a story for another time when we don't have so much to deal with. It was nice meeting you, Misty.
You as well, Prince.
Nice meeting you, Carter. And, uh,
I will
well,
try to get a hold of my Prince's sister and talk to her.
uh, yeah, let me know how that goes or if you're actually able to get a hold of them. I'll call your prince ahead of time and let him know that you're gonna talk to to his sister, so there's no sudden like what in the hell's going on sort of thing on your end.
Yeah.
Um, um, Winter, you have my phone number.
Yes, I
Uh,
do.
Call me if you find out anything. If you need to come and talk to me, it sounds weird, but we can set up an appointment with all the things that are going on. But and I'll let you know where Tanner goes on vacation since he's your connection.
Are
So
you going to appoint another Invictus rep in his absence?
no, he's probably only gonna be gone a week or two.
Oh, okay.
We've got too much stuff going on otherwise. Um, you can just talk directly to me while he's gone.
Okay.
So with that, uh, he walks over, sets the glass down on the bar and check. Well, Natalie's gone, so he sets the glass down in front of the other bartender and basically just walks out the door. And you see his big driver get out and open his door and jump back in the car, and they drive away. By this time, it's about midnight. The last 2 hours of the night go by generally without incident. There's nobody outside at this point. Everybody who's gonna be there is there.
Right.
So you don't have to stand outside. Uh, Carter looks over at you and goes, "Is New York always this way?"
Well, this little corner of it seems to be pretty consistently stressful. Yes.
Well, you've created a club where all the vampires in the general area hang out, so you're gonna get that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Your club does well, so you get all the drama from all the people that go with it.
Right. It was just a little more drama than I was expecting, you know?
At this point, Bella walks up and apologizes for her night, basically. She's like, didn't mean to cause so much trouble.
Well, you might want to apologize to Tanner the next time you see him.
Yeah. At which point you let her know that he's going on vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll talk to Dexter again tomorrow night.
Okay, if he's here, depending on how Nat is, I might leave him home with her and hold things down by myself here.
I hope she ends up being all right.
If I have to, if I have to, I can grab one of my customers, you know, find the biggest vampire I can, put the clipboard in his hands, and have him check people in.
Oh, okay.
I don't really want to leave Nat by herself,
Right.
you know.
Oh, and as per what the prince said, if you need any help doing anything, let me know.
Oh, I will, thank you.
I didn't know when I was arguing with Dexter that this was bigger than just my two sisters disappearing.
Well, neither did we, but something's obviously going on. Here, you
Yeah.
want to join us? You want to sit down? You guys want another drink? I'll ask
Yeah.
Misty and Carter.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm good for now.
All right. Bella, you want something?
She says, yeah, actually, um, what was that thing the prince was drinking?
I think it was a blood orange Cosmo, wasn't it? Something like that, or
Yeah.
blood orange old fashioned. It was a blood orange old fashioned. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
She's like, because when he was talking to me, that's all I could smell. smelled pretty good, so I'll try one. And Carter says, "See, it's good we didn't check out of the hotel. Now we have to pack up stuff and go back home for
I
a
don't know
bit."
why we could just call them. Why we need to go home? We could just call them.
Well, he's like, "We should really go to my place and check on the horses and see if the our little werewolf problem has been."
You know, weren't we told to stay here until we were called?
Well, yeah, but that was 4 months ago. And nobody said a word as of yet.
Yeah, you
So.
might want to go
Call
check
them.
on those werewolves. And suddenly I have Kentucky Woman, the song going through my head, only it's Kentucky Werewolf. Sorry, Neil Diamond.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that could be a Weird Al Yankovic cover. That would work.
Right.
Yep.
Uh, but Bella sits down after she gets her drink, and you can tell just by looking at her that she's exhausted from the night she's had. She's like, "I don't know what in the world's going on, but it's getting. I thought 4 months ago was weird."
I
But
know. I know. In fact, I
uh,
think I'm gonna go get myself another drink too.
by this point, you are feeling rather tipsy. You've had like, what? This will make
4.
4 of these now.
Yeah.
You
And
are,
it's like the first time since I've been a vampire.
that, yeah, that you've drank this as
Yeah.
much. Yeah, so you are definitely bordering on not sober. So Bella is like, "So what's up with Natalie anyway?"
Well, we don't know exactly at this point, but you remember when she was hypnotized by the Strix, right?
Right.
Well, she went for treatment at the Invictus headquarters, and apparently she heard some stuff going on there and thinks that they're experimenting on vampires somehow in there, and she thinks that maybe they did something to her.
Uh,
We don't know what. I'm a little worried.
That would explain her being not quite the same as she was before all that happened.
Yeah, they did something to her. I'd really like to know what. And the prince didn't say anything about investigating that, but I want to
Um,
look into that.
Bella's like, "You know what? With the other two things you're dealing with the vampires missing and the human and all that, I'll I will go investigate the treatment center, because if there's spells involved, I'll be able to find that out easier than you would."
Oh, that would be great. Here, I don't think I've given you my phone number. I should give that to you so you can call me if you find anything out.
Uh, I'm at the club every night. We should exchange phone numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. on a normal night, I do like Dexter. I'm just
Yeah, I noticed you seem to
this
like him kind of a lot.
this has just been really weird for last 4 months. Well, because I don't know what the hell's going on either.
I thought, once all that stuff with the Seven and the Strix and the, you know,
Sancta,
takeover were, yeah, that was all over. Things would go back to normal? Is there a
what
normal?
what's that?
Uh, yeah, I don't know.
And she says, "Oh, by the way, the sanctum has a new leader."
You?
No, but I just heard about it from a sanctum follower the other night. They have a new leader,
Hmm.
and this leader is quite upset about what went on in the park that day.
Uh,
So
Why, I don't blame him.
apparently they've been giving rather nasty sermons and
Mm,
such. So I'd be careful that way too,
yeah.
because the sanctum building is just like down the street. So,
I try to avoid them anyway.
well, just make sure you do and make sure they avoid you.
Yeah, well, at this point, I'm just hoping the damn human cops avoid me because I'm sick of dealing with them.
He's like, she's like, well, you can hypnotize them. You can do what the prince did to me. So
True, yeah.
that
I
they
don't usually tend to do that to humans unless they're causing a lot of problems in the bar. I've, settled a few almost bar fights that way.
and you can always if they come in, you you give them a free drink that happens to have something in it. You know, you can always go that way. And Bella's like, yes, I've been around a while. I've done some things that even most vampires would find questionable. So if you want to not have your human problem anymore, there are ways to fix that. They're just tad bit questionable, that's all. So,
Well, yeah, you may be a good one to hang around,
well, the reason I'm here every night, besides the music and the interesting humans that try to be us, is I get my information here and there. Humans talk a lot.
And I kind of lean over to her and I'm like, and if you and Dex, it's okay. Nat and I don't mind.
Ah, well, he didn't seem to mind hanging out with my sisters and me that night until everything went to hell, but you never know.
I mean, she hasn't said as much, but I'm sure Nat's got a few on the side. And
Well, she's like 400 years old. So, so yeah.
And I've got my eyes on the lead singer of our house band.
Oh yeah, she is kind of cute. I was here last Friday.
She is.
She gonna, they gonna show up tomorrow, are they?
Now, every Friday.
Oh, that's cool. Well, you better hope Natalie's better because this,
Yeah. Well, there is a backup I could call in for, either down here or up in the RIP section, and we'll get it covered. But I hope she's okay for her own sake. I am worried.
this, this place is jumping when they play on Friday nights. So,
Yeah, it is.
well, maybe we can take Friday and just have some fun and nothing bizarre will happen.
That would be nice.
And at that point, your text goes off and it's Dexter. And all it said is, you need to come home. And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. Because it's after 10 o'clock. So I know there was a lot of plot explanation, but did you guys have fun?
Yeah, actually did.
After 4 months, you got to
That's to be
rebuild
expected.
things after.
Yeah.
But
That's to be expected after 4 months.
lots of things going on that you guys have to investigate now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And now that I've made sure that you guys have weapons, Saturday after next, you might end up having your first actual combat.
Didn't they have combat that one time?
Well,
When everything else blew up?
not really. They were sort of out of the way of all that. They got to see it, but they didn't end up getting into it.
Right.
Because I was thinking about doing combat with you guys tonight, and then I was like, there's too much to go through. We won't end up doing that for a bit.
Right.
So, well, and I hope everybody who sees this when it goes up on the channel enjoys it.
There you go, Purple.
It'll also go up on our podcast, which is doing really well. And follow us on all our social media, the Twitter and Facebook, and we're on everything. Believe me, I spend enough time in front of the computer to make sure we're on everything. So, but we'll be back to Dungeons and Dragons next week, and
But speaking of which, I think you should ask someone if she wants to join if we kick who out.
well, we discussed that, and we didn't really come to a conclusion on that one. But we don't know what's going on with the other person yet either.
Right.
If they're like in the hospital or something, I'm not gonna.
No, he's on disc. He was on SL today, so
Oh.
he was online So
Well, that's good to hear. Cause for for a little bit I thought he might have caught COVID or something. But and then the D&D game, we get to see if you actually get paid for what happened on the island.
Yep. Hello. Hello.
Oh, and you guys need to level up your character, and for that matter, let me
Which
think.
one? For which one?
For
Second D&D
well,
or?
for D&D, because you didn't do it
Yeah, I know.
Wednesday.
I could do. I did part of mine. I just need
Okay.
to choose my spell.
Uh,
I just haven't done that yet. I just need to choose my spell.
you got a fourth and a fifth, so.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I just haven't
but
done it yet.
speaking of experience, uh, Ugh, since we're starting back up after this long, I'll give you an actual whole experience point for tonight. So, uh, so that gives what? Misty, you've got 3. How many do you have, Robin?
I have 3.
Uh, okay, well, if you guys are saving up for other things, it'll just be a while till you get there.
Mm-hmm.
I
I believe I was
checked,
saving up for something. I just don't remember what.
because I checked the protein thing you were talking about,
Oh yeah.
where you can uh, shapeshift and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 7
Okay.
to
7.
buy 7 points to get a dot in that, or 7 experience to get a dot in that. So you're almost halfway there.
That was what I was trying to aim for. Was a protean.
You could shapeshift into a wolf, and then you could go see what's going on with the werewolves on your farm. It would work.
Right.
Be like, "Hi guys, what's up?" So, but,
Then we better not go back there for another couple rounds.
well, it's gonna take you a while to get 4 more experience points,
Yeah.
but uh, might not take you very long, depending on how messy all this gets. Uh, might get there sooner than you think if you survive that long.
Hello,
So,
Purple. Hi, Purple.
so I think that's all I have, unless you guys have
Nope, I
anything.
have nothing else.
Hmm.
Uh, your books are still listed in the description of
Oh, okay.
all the videos. Keep keep us up to date on when your next one comes out.
I will.
We'll put that in there too. Uh, so I think with that, we'll say goodnight, and we'll
See you
see you
next
for
time.
See you next time.
D&D next week. So everybody have a good week until next Saturday.